There's a whole new generation of toys hitting playrooms right now, and these aren't your old-school pull-string toys. We're talking about toys powered by some of the most advanced AI out there. And here's the kicker. They're not just cute, they're actually listening.
So that really brings up a huge and kind of urgent question, doesn't it? Are your child's toys actually listening? And if they are, what are they actually hearing? And maybe even more important, what are they saying back to our kids?
Okay, so at first glance, they look totally harmless, right? You've got Grem, this plush blue alien voiced by the singer Grimes, and then there's Miko 3, a friendly-faced little robot on wheels. They're designed to be the perfect playmate, but as we're about to find out, there is a lot more going on behind those big, friendly eyes.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. We'll look at what makes these toys different, peek under the hood at the tech, explore what the manufacturers are promising, uncover the hidden dangers researchers found, and finally, we'll stack up human playtime against machine playtime.
Okay, first up, what makes this new kind of friend so different? I mean, we are not talking about a toy that just repeats the same 3 phrases. This is a huge leap forward. We're talking about complex, one-of-a-kind conversations that can go wherever a kid's imagination wants to take them.
So yeah, they might look like any other stuffed animal or a cute little robot, but the real game changer is what's inside. We're talking about a microphone that's always on and a constant connection to the internet. That combo right there, it changes everything. It turns a simple toy into a portal for conversation.
So you have to wonder, how in the world can a plush alien come up with a totally unique answer to a 5-year-old's random question about, dinosaurs or their feelings? Well, to get that, we've got to pop the hood and look at the secret sauce, generative AI.
You've probably been hearing this term everywhere lately. Basically, generative AI is these super powerful models, like what powers ChatGPT. They're trained on just enormous amounts of stuff from the internet. The key thing is, they don't just spit back info. They listen to a prompt, in this case your child's voice, and then they create something brand new and totally unique in response.
And this whole process, it's a super fast 4-step loop that happens in just seconds. It goes like this. First, your kid says something. The mic in the toy grabs the audio. Then, whoosh, that audio gets sent over the internet to a huge AI brain that figures out a reply. And finally, the toy speaks a brand new, freshly made response right back to your child. Boom.
Okay, but why would a parent even want this? Well, the appeal is actually really powerful. Let's dive into the promise of AI play, because what the manufacturers are selling is this vision of a perfect, tireless, and super beneficial buddy for your kid.
I mean, they're basically marketed as these amazing little parenting partners. They can be a tutor, right? Giving instant answers to homework questions. They can offer emotional support, always ready with a kind word. They can be a playmate, guiding kids through games and different activities. And honestly, for a lot of parents, the biggest sell is that it does all of this without a screen. That's a huge deal.
And you know what? These promises are really landing with parents. Just take a look at this review for the Miko 3 robot. This person mentioned how it could literally play hide and seek with their kids, cheer them up when they're down, and even works as a handy intercom. It really paints this picture of a device that's genuinely helpful for the whole family.
But that's only one side of the coin. Now we need to talk about the hidden dangers. Because when independent researchers really started to push these toys to their limits, what they found was a totally different, and honestly, a much more concerning reality hiding just beneath that friendly surface.
So, the first alarm bells really started going off in late 2025. That's when an advocacy group found that an AI teddy bear was actually encouraging some really inappropriate conversations. And then, things got serious. In January 2026, Common Sense Media dropped a huge report after testing toys like Gremo and Miko 3, and they uncovered what they called unacceptable risks.
And I want you to focus on that phrase, unacceptable risks. They didn't say some risks or potential risks, they said unacceptable. This wasn't just a small bug they found. This was a warning about a deep, fundamental failure, and it came from an organization that parents really trust for this stuff.
So how bad was it really? Well, during their test, Common Sense Media found that a whopping 27% of the AI's responses were inappropriate for kids. Just let that sink in for a second. That means more than 1 out of every 4 things the toy says to a child could be harmful. And we're not talking about it just saying something a little silly or off topic. The kind of stuff that got through the safety filters included topics like self-harm, drugs, unsafe role-playing. It was even giving out dangerous advice. I mean, this is the exact opposite of the safe educational buddy that was promised on the box. So,
why is this happening? How does this stuff slip through? Well, it all comes down to where the AI learns from. These huge AI models are trained on the internet. You know, the entire internet. The messy, unfiltered, adult internet. The child safety part is just a filter they stick on top. And as this research proves, those filters are leaky. They can be pretty easily tricked, especially by the wild, unpredictable questions that only a kid can dream up.
But you know, the dangers here go way beyond just hearing bad words or scary topics. Researchers are also sounding the alarm on other things, like the risk of kids forming unhealthy emotional attachments to a machine. The fact that these things are collecting incredibly private data, your child's conversations, and maybe most worrying, the potential for these toys to actually harm a young child's development. It makes you ask some really big long-term questions, like what happens when a kid's most important early relationships are with an AI that's programmed to always be agreeable, instead of with a real, complicated human being?
And that really brings us to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? It's human versus machine playtime. So we have to ask, can the shiny benefits promised by these toys ever outweigh the very real, very serious risks we've just talked about?
All right, so let's put them side by side. How do the perks of an AI buddy stack up against just good old-fashioned human playtime? Okay, on the AI side, you get screen-free time, cool customized stories, and it can help at learning. But then look at the human side. Yeah, it's messy, it's complicated, but that's where kids build real relationships, where they learn empathy. It's how they learn to cope when things don't go their way. And that stuff, well, it's not just nice to have. It's absolutely essential for their development.
And the researchers at Common Sense Media really nailed it. That easy, always happy chat with an AI, that's not where kids learn how to deal with the real world. Real growth, the important stuff, happens in those messy, complex human interactions with other people. So here's the bottom line from the experts. At their absolute best, maybe, just maybe, these AI toys can be a small supplement to real-world play. But at their worst, they start to replace those experiences. And that replacement, that is the biggest risk of all. It's the risk of a child turning to a machine for comfort, for connection, instead of turning to a parent, a brother or sister, or a friend. And that really leaves us with one last question to think about. When our kids grow up and they look back at their childhood memories, who or what are they going to remember playing hide and seek with? Will it be a person they loved, or a machine that was just programmed to pretend?